I know a lot of supervisors did this. I did this myself. Actually went into the AP classes and actually talked to the students and explained to them, hey guys, it's good that you're in this class, but please understand, you have to earn the right to go to the next one. And it's putting accountability on the students for them to take responsibility that, you know what, it's not just going to be given to me because a teacher likes me or whatever other reason, but I have to demonstrate it with my work ethic.
Some of our strategies for success and addressing different areas in need. We began with a stakeholder-generated theme for the year. What I did was, in the past, my first 2 years, the theme for the year was a top-down initiative. The administration put together a theme and shared it with the students, shared it with stakeholders, shared it with parents. This year I thought to really, in the spirit of collaboration with students, with parents, and with staff, that we come together and come up with a theme, all of us, with the administration included. So we met our Parent Advisory Council with a group of parents. I met with a group of students, our executive committee, our student council. I had engaged in conversations with teachers, and we came up with a theme that we are all in. And that is all into everything about Dover High School. All into academics, of course, is the primary. All into getting assignments done, getting to school on time, getting to school every day, coming to school with that all-in attitude that we're here, we're working together, we're collaborating. The teachers being all in creating dynamic lessons that stimulate the students, that engage the students, that hook them in as soon as they walk into the classroom. Coaches being all in at practice every day. Student athletes being all in the classroom, on the playing fields, on the stage, in the band, wherever it is, being all in. Parents being all in. We have many parents here this evening that are routinely all in to supporting the district, to supporting the buildings, and supporting their children. And also the collaboration with all stakeholders, being all in. And also realizing, is in my discussions with students and parents, diversity came up quite frequently, and I think the vibe I took from that, and the students were sharing it with me, as were parents and staff, that we all know that our strength lies within our diversity, and we're excited about that, and that fits right in with our theme for the year of being all in. With that said, we have some professional development through within the district, outside the district, PLCs, focusing on a variety of topics, including the Gilder Learman Academy with our Social Studies Department and Mrs. Gensinger, putting a lot of time into enhancing instruction in these social studies classes, reviewing and examining and researching the New Jersey State Learning Standards that are fairly new, that are only a year old, and how they're aligning them with our lessons, with instruction, with assessment. The Next Generation Science Standards, Ms. Heineman is working closely with the science staff on really getting a grasp of those standards as well. PLCs on judging effectiveness, reading technical passages. One of the areas in language arts where we did struggle was the connection between reading and, on the PARC, between reading and history. So that's an area, because the PARC program, they provide you with evidence statement analysis that zeroes in on specific questions. It has all the questions on the test. The teachers have access to all of this information. We provide it to them. They work with their supervisors. The evidence statement analysis zeroes in on specific questions and which questions the students did well on, which questions the students did poorly on, what standards they are connected to. So then that is evidence, that is data that is put together that the teachers can use to then implement into their lessons on a daily basis. And that is one of our initiatives this year, to really examine those that data. In addition, we're increasing the rigor of our academic vocabulary, PLCs on formative and summative assessments. That is something that we looked at in the past, and we're re-examining that to make sure that those formative assessments that teachers create, the summative assessments that teachers create, are generating data for them to then use to drive future instruction. One initiative that came from involving parents through our Parent Advisory Council was the Parent Portal. Dover High School had it as a pilot program last year. We started midway through the year. We're very excited. I'm excited about it. The parents were, it was very well received. And this year, we're doing it again. A little bit of a slow start with some of the new parents, but we're up and running. All parents now, they provided us with an email, have access to the Parent Portal right through Genesis. Because one of the discussions that I've had with parents at our Parent Advisory Council meeting was communication, trying to communicate and enhance communication to those parents that are on the Parent Portal. I sent an email yesterday about the PSAT coming out. And again, it's a learning process. I'm trying to put all the pieces together to try to get the information out. I believe the first email that I sent through Genesis, was the attachment was not there. And the second email attachment, it went to some, but then by the time I got to the third one and the PDF document, it got to everyone. So from what I've heard anyway, because parents were calling and saying there's no attachment. But again, that'll be another layer of communication that we can use, but the parents have to be all in and get it logging into Genesis. As you can see that some parents are all in and some parents are not. And we can run reports on that, and then that's going to be one of my first questions when parents are, sitting with parents and meeting with them and saying, well, I had no idea my child was, not performing well. Have you been on the Parent Portal? Because it's there. And this week we are putting up grades for the midterm progress reports. Parents have had access to for a little over a week now to the Parent Portal, most parents anyway. But beginning of the year, sometimes there's challenges, but moving forward, there should be no surprises whatsoever, whether it's attendance or discipline or grades. That should not be there. And I've encouraged the parents all the time, if the teacher's not putting grades up there, just have a conversation with the teacher. But I know we work very closely, the supervisors work closely with the teachers, and I know the teachers are all in and getting that information up on Genesis as soon as possible. In addition, we have our Title I funding that provides us with extra teaching staff to keep class sizes down. It started in the summer with our Acuplacer program. For seniors, we had an Acuplacer prep program for seniors that were struggling to meet the assessment requirement for graduating high school. We had quite a number. Over 65% of our students that participated in the program met the criteria on the Acuplacer. That was exciting for them. We wanted them to come in September without that assessment requirement hanging over them. So we still have some more seniors that we're working with them, and we'll put more Acuplacer weeks, prep weeks, into our program as the year goes on. We also have used Title I funding for parent events as well. You may.
During the summer also, for the Acuplacer program, we had one of the ESL teachers come, and he conducted a class for 6 ESL students. Some of the students have been here in our school for about a year, and they all passed. I think it's a great testimony to the teaching staff and using Title I funding for our program.
Absolutely. Additionally, we have the teachers have been analyzing test data. I mentioned the evidence statement analysis. They've been doing that. Foundational classes. We've identified students that struggled in math or language arts, and in addition to, for example, a student who has Algebra 1, we've also provided them with a Foundations of Algebra 1 to give them that extra support during the school day, so they can continue their after-school activities without interruption. So they have basically a double math period. It's not back-to-back, but it's in their schedule. They have 2 math classes, one giving them the support they need to be successful in their Algebra 1 class. We also have a similar program for it's a reading and writing workshop for students that struggle in language arts. They have an additional class in place of an elective to give them the support they need to be successful on the ELA part. 10 marks, that is an online assessment. It's a personalized learning program, similar to some of the other ones the elementaries we're discussing, but it is tailored for the students. We're going to attack all of our Algebra 1 students. That's one of our major initiatives, will be to support our Algebra 1 students. Teachers will have access to 10 marks. Every student will be uploaded into the system, and It's a personalized learning program where they take assessments, and there's tutorials right on the website that if there's a concept they're struggling with, it'll prompt them to watch this video, and it shows someone teaching that concept on how to solve that problem. So we're excited about that as well. Additionally, we have teacher assessments. Teachers are working with their supervisors to design assessments that are aligned to PARC, to the SAT, to AP, whether it be in a formal assessment at the end of a unit, or an assessment at the end of a period, an exit ticket, or it may also be an entry or do now work that focuses on SAT, PARC, and AP, depending on what the teacher is teaching. Khan Academy, the College Board has aligned with Khan Academy, so every student has access to Khan Academy, an account. We have 800 students tomorrow who will be filling out, pre-gridding their testing booklet for the PSAT, which we're taking next week, and the result of that will be those students will be generating a Khan Academy account via that, and the College Board will be sending them information that they can then use to go on Khan Academy, and it tailors, again, another layer of improving our test scores on the SATs is that Khan Academy program. It's a wonderful tool the College Board has paired with to make sure our students are successful. Primary source analysis, looking at critical documents, historical documents, focusing on reading comprehension in language arts. There's a lot of natural connection between our language arts department and our history department, and our fine and performing arts department is looking at analytical writing, tasks and assignments, looking at pieces of artwork, listening to music, and writing a response to those. So, but again, I appreciate the opportunity to share our results with you. We're moving in the right direction, and we're looking to continue to achieve with everyone being all in. Thank you very much.
Very much. I want to thank all of our administrators. This was a fabulous, fabulous presentation, and it's a testament to the district that you share in the achievements of each other also, and that's a testament. We're very fortunate to have that, and we thank you. Okay, much to digest. For those members of the public who are looking for the actual PowerPoint, it will be online. It will be on our website. And at this point, we'll see our board members. Anyone with questions? Our administrators, I know a lot to digest.
I look forward to the results of the Khan Academy and seeing how that really helps students achieve, because I know that's one area that people always seem to focus in on the SATs, but that doesn't always tell the whole picture. But it would be great to see that help those scores, because they're pretty close to the state scores now.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
But definitely getting there is a big deal.
Definitely, for sure. Anyone else?
Thank you, Madam President. I have several questions.
Okay.
Thank you. For Ms. Schoonmaker, thank you so much for that very detailed presentation. What might explain the grade 6 negative 2.9 change and the grade 10 positive, and I think I wrote this correctly, 27% leap? Yeah, so those are, the 27% leap is certainly impressive, and the 2.9 negative change concerning, but nothing compared to that leap. So what is happening with these 6th graders and 10th graders where we can increase more of what's going on with the 10th grade and really focus on that 6th grade to help them improve?
An interesting question, because there's a lot of different ways we can look at it. If you want to look at the 6th grade as a cohort, I think that when the principal showed the buildings, we showed that that 6th grade scores are in line with that cohort as well. But in terms of the 6th grade score itself, broken down, each building has its own challenges. It appears as though 6th grade happened to be a challenge for the majority of buildings this year. What those challenges are do vary by building. You heard the principals refer to the statement analysis, the evidence statement analysis. which isn't a public document, so it's why you didn't see it, but what it does is it gives, it gives a district result and then each building. And what each building can do is they can take a look at specific questions that were on the test. They give the indicators that correlate to those questions. They can see how they did compared to the rest of the district. And then what they can do is they can look and find release test questions from previous part assessments. So what they're doing in each building to remediate is focus on those specific areas, which will probably be different areas for each building, and then come up with additional questions, as Mr. Marion was talking about, adding on to SGOs to try to assuage some of those issues that they found. But in terms of, yeah, there was a 2.9% decline in scores, but then when you look at the median student vote percentiles, a lot of them are high achieving. So it's it's kind of hard to pinpoint down to one. What we really want to do is to focus on where we're going from here. And by using the evidence statement analysis, that's where the direction that the buildings are headed in to improve the scores.
Is there something about the test, certainly looking at those math scores, right, that it seems that either our entire state needs math tutoring or the test is
Well,
flawed?
the algebra is very telling, because if you take the algebra assessment before you get to high school, like in 8th grade, I think if you were an 8th grader, 77% is the passing rate for 8th grade. As soon as you get to high school, it drops dramatically. Like the passing rate in 9th grade is about 25%, 10th grade drops to 4%, 11th grade is 4%, and the senior taking algebra will be 3% passing rate. So the test, what that kind of tells you, in my opinion, is that the test was made for students who have an academic penchant for mathematics. And who demonstrate that because they're taking algebra before they even get to high school. That seems to be the way that test is set up.
And is there
Ninth
anything
grade,
to
ninth
say
grade
about the
course.
6th graders and maybe that transition?
Yeah, I mean,
Like,
you really
that
have to
sixth
look at
grade
individual
transition.
buildings, because when you look at it as a district score, you're seeing the culmination of 3 different buildings. You can have a building where it perfectly fell in line. You can have another building where something did happen that they needed to take a look at and assuage. To look at it as a district as a whole is a negative 2.9. It's much more effective to look at it as a building level.
Thank you. I have more questions, but I'm not going to.
I think you also have to look at the growth model in terms of grade 6. A lot of the growth is very significant. So you always get into the old debate. You want to look at the targeted score, the QSAC and the newspapers are based on, or do you want to look at how much each student has improved? And one of the unique dynamics of our district is this year, since September, we've welcomed 65 students new to the country. The moment you come to the country, the moment you enroll in the classroom, that score gets calculated in for the targeted assessment. So that's why that could have the appearance of skewing the results somewhat, because I don't know what percentage of the numbers of students that are enrolling in some of the other districts. However, I think it's fair to say our percentages are much higher. So to me, the main thing is if you look at student growth is the indication of the teacher effectiveness in the classroom. If you pass a test 2 years in a row and you don't show any growth, you're the same, that might not be as preferable as a student who does not pass a test but has grown remarkably in the year-to-year analysis. So I think you have to take that into perspective. Also, when you look at the scores, for instance, grade 6 in in language arts, we're actually doing, we're not happy with those 6th grade. It's our lowest scores, but we did beat Roxbury, Jefferson, East Hanover, Rockaway, and Wharton. If you look at grade 7 in language arts, which gives the students a chance to acclimate, we beat East Hanover, Roxbury, Boonton, Montville, Morris School District, Butler, Rockaway, Necon, Jefferson, Wharton, and Rockaway. And these are the scores that we just got in that we'll be releasing. So I think you really, when the state comes out with a chart, if you go throw that chart out there and say like 19% of our freshmen passed Algebra 1, it helps if you have the perspective that across the state only 20%, 21% passed. So you have to take all these things into account. And we're not making excuses, as all the principals said. Their goal is to improve the scores. that by throttling back now from a district perspective and having the building principals at building level, site-based management, where they're working very closely with their teachers and deciding their own professional development needs, which is why for our PD day this year, we didn't have everybody meet. We had each school do their own based on the input they got from their teachers. I think this bodes well for the future of our test scores and where we stand. But it is crucial that we look at the student growth, because that really tells a story of the teacher effectiveness in the classroom. I'm sorry, but
Ms. Laura.
I have a statement and then I have a question. I have been seeing this presentation for 25 years now, since I started coming to Board of Education meetings when my son was in kindergarten. So over the years, I've seen this same presentation, and I have to say that this is the absolute best I've ever seen. As Mrs. Shower said, the way all of you work together is extremely impressive, and the cohesiveness, the attention to detail is fabulous, and I can only see good things for the future. There's just so much effort to look at where things went wrong and where the improvement is needed. Now my question is, I realize the reason for the 8th grade math, and then, or the algebra, and then you have it freshman year. What I'm wondering about is when it's the geometry, I guess that is those students who took, well, then you have freshman year geometry, and then you have everybody else. So are those scores all put together at that point, even though it's segregated in 8th grade? Okay, all right, thank you.
Very good. Anybody else before I go back to Ms. Ruiz? Yes.
I want to thank you, Bill, again, for the hard work. Keep working. All right, and yes, definitely agree with all the principals that this says parent has to be involved in the kids' education. It worked for me, and I think it's going to work. So push the parent to be involved. All right, thank you. Thank you, everybody.
Anybody else?
Can I just add to
Yes.
what Ms. Laurie said about the presentation of the scores? This time made the most sense because of the way it was represented and understanding the student growth and then actually seeing it and explaining that from the
Yes.
beginning made it easier for us to understand when each of the building principals talked about their scores. It made perfect sense. And understanding where the real growth is in those other measures was fantastic.
Sure.
And that was good, because that's one of the things that I've been asking for years, to see 3rd grade scores for
What
1,
happens,
2,
right.
3 years doesn't really tell you how the individual students are doing it. And being able to see this format, you can see that there is growth in the particular classes going down the line. That's very beneficial.
Yes, exactly. It's also very important for the board members now. They'll see the connection, those puzzle pieces fitting together for the goals and objectives, how we need this crucial information, as Mr. Marion said, to put together the goals and objectives, because it's basically, this is the result of our goals and objectives and the work for that. So thank you very much for that. Anybody else before we go back to Ms. Ruiz? Yes, Ms.
another comment, some of the things you have to be very cautious of also in grade 8, 3 through 8, the students may take the English language arts portion of the test in their native language, which, many students come to us and they're very well equipped in their native language, so they have the ability to take the test in their native language. For some reason in grade 9, everyone must take the test in English, probably due to the graduation requirement. And it's not us, it's a state regulation on that. So I think that might also be one of those hidden outliers in terms of how it's going to impact the scores, because all of a sudden, you're brand new to the country, you might be on reading level in your own language, but you have to take a test in English.
Right.
So that is going to skew those 9th grades. So that is a little hiccup in the testing that we have to try to deal with. But I thought that might be advantageous also.
Ms. Ruiz?
Thank you, Madam President. Ms. Shoemaker, you mentioned that, or you showed us, and I didn't get a chance to really tease that out, that the comparison was done with economically disadvantaged students, and that 77% of our students fall within that category.
I took the test in 2016 because we just got the 17 data.
Okay, the 2016 test takers. And I think Mr. Becker began to answer this question a little bit as to how we compare to other students who may not be economically disadvantaged. And while we have no excuses and we want to ensure that all our students excel, we recognize that economic disadvantage is one more hurdle that our students have to overcome and that our teachers help them to overcome. So how does this let us know how we compare to our surrounding area who may not, like Montville, for example, it sounds like we did better than Montville, who may not be economically disadvantaged?
That's the other part of the analysis that we do with the data that we just got on Thursday afternoon, is we do for every single test, we put every school in Morris County and where we should rank. And that's total school score.
Okay.
Right, which is what the majority of presentation was. And yeah, we've done that every year for the past.
So we just don't have it yet because we
Right,
just got it
because
Thursday.
just got the
Yeah.
data.
Okay.
It's early. Usually, we recover on the last one we had flag on, so it was around election day that we got. We're used to getting the data in November. They did put it out earlier this year, but not early enough to include in tonight's presentation.
And that's one of the frustrating things. When you look at the testing, we do have last year's results, some of last year's presentation, I get the chart of what we did. And really, sometimes the efforts and successes of our administrators and our teachers are often lost in the detail of all the numbers. As an example, last year, using last year's test results, and we'll have this year's very soon, in terms of statewide, Hispanic, 85% of the students classified as Hispanic, and I hate these subcategories, but this is how the state measures this, passed in Dover. The Hispanic passing rate in New Jersey, 37%. The Asian passing rate in Dover, 100%. Asian passing rate in New Jersey, 79%. Black passing rate in Dover, 53.8%. Black passing rate in New Jersey, 31%. White passing rate in Dover, 72.7%. White passing rate in New Jersey, 61%. Economically disadvantaged, to get to the nature of your question. In Dover, which is 80% of our students last year, 74.8% of the students passed. And the state, 33%. So if you start drilling down the data and looking at exactly how we're doing, those who choose to condemn, criticize, and complain haven't taken advantage of really drilling down the data and seeing the excellent job our staff is doing. And I think the IEPs in the district, 76.4%, in the state, 53% pass. So, you know, all these things really contribute toward a more full knowledge and understanding. And that's why we do this every year. I think this year has been one of the best ever, and it reflects the change we have in the district as we start to decentralize a lot of our professional development to gear into what's going on at each school. But I also want to commend, I hate to follow Mr. Franks, but all the principals. I think just an outstanding job that they do, not only in this presentation, but in taking the district philosophy and translating that to their teaching staffs and empowering the teachers to work with them and say, what do we need for professional development? What areas can we do better in? And I think this collaboration is really, really helping. And I also want to thank Ms. Schoolmaker, who is our data person. And nobody could have put together the framework for this and been the spirit guide, really, for everyone as we go through the process. No one could have done it better, and I'm most appreciative for her efforts through this. And the building principals, this wasn't something they just threw together. They've had rehearsals, a lot of data. It's just been a major effort, but I think with the information that we've been able to put forth to you, it's been extremely successful and worthwhile. But I